So in many ways, I think San Francisco is one of the most amazing places to be an artist because you've got an interested audience outside your door.
My name is Annie Galvin, and I'm an artist, and I work here at my studio in San Francisco called Three Fish Studios in the Outer Sunset District of San Francisco. If we have a unifying theme, it's California and San Francisco, and even more hyper-local than that. It's like the western edge of San Francisco.
It took us a few years to really find our voice, to find the way that we wanted to express ourselves as artists. Just through just a lot of work of working at our house and working in our own private studio space. About 15 years ago, we started showing our work for the first time.
People walk in every day and buy work from us, which is amazing.
Well, I'm a printmaker. That means that I take blocks of wood and linoleum and I carve them out, and then I ink them with relief ink is what they call it, and then I run it through an etching press to make an edition of prints.
I am a painter and I do a bit of everything. I like to make collage, I draw.
I do greeting cards, I do animation, and now I'm starting to put some of my art on ceramic pieces like plates and mugs.
You know, in our public education, we were always introduced to real art making techniques, and it so happens that one of the last remaining manufacturers of etching presses was 10 miles away from where I grew up. So in my high school, we had an etching press. In a community college I went to, we had an etching press. When I went off to art school, it was just naturally a tool that I wanted to use.
From very early, I always drew and made pictures when I was little. And in high school, we only had one art class like twice a week, and that was what I had to make do with in high school. But then I went to art school after that in Ireland, and that was super fun. Just got to make art all day, and so I've always wanted to do it. But when I moved to the United States, I went back to school and got a degree in English, and then worked as a writer for years, and then finally came back to art at the end.
Well, I got started in the way that most kids do, which is when you're in school and the first years of school, you're given paints and paper and you make drawings of whatever it is that you want to do.
You know, we do the work that we're motivated to make. We're inspired by living in a dynamic urban environment. You're engaged on so many levels with politics, with the environment, with education, with just people living their lives in this city. And I think almost everyone I know that moves to San Francisco has to face that same obstacle of how in the heck am I going to be able to afford to live here?
Why would you choose a job that you didn't think you could make very much money?
A lot of artists are getting pushed out because studio space is expensive and everything. The nice thing is, if you can make it work in San Francisco, if you can manage to stay here and be an artist, there's people who love art in this town and who will buy art. And so that keeps us in business.
I've had a lot of support of all kinds to allow me to keep going on. So a lot of my success is due to how much support I've had from friends and family.
It's an incredible community of other artists here in San Francisco, and we all support each other by letting each other know about shows, letting each other know about other types of opportunities. The art scene in general is changing dramatically because more and more artists are learning to self-represent, with the tools that we're given with technology, with the internet, with being able to put your work online and having a real audience for people to buy online. It changes everything.
Over time, the idea of there being a specific type of regional art, that's probably past now. Largely because of the internet, because there's one can see art from any period of time by anybody in any country. So that changes things. That sort of blurs the regional distinctions that one area might have.
There's only so much room in San Francisco. And from looking around, there's houses behind houses on top of houses. It's pretty packed. And everyone in the world wants to be here, which is amazing to me. I mean, I can see why I love it here, but it does create some real challenges, not just for artists, but for everybody, for teachers, for police officers, for people that are engaged in their community.
The advantages of making my art around here is, one is this is the place I grew up. My friends are here, my family is here, so all those important connections are still with me from when I was growing up. So just as a human being, it's nice to be around people that I've known for a long time.
Artists activate a space like no one else, and there's such a spirit of that type of cooperation in the city, and it makes me feel good about what's happening, despite all of the challenges that everybody sees.